Hi everybody, and welcome back to Just Paint It. Today I'm going to bring you a new kit, 3D printing kit for painting. But we're going to start off with probably a multi-parter to this video, because we're going to start off with getting this baby ready for painting. If you can see, this is not even primed yet. This is how I printed it, and just got done gluing it together last night. And I wanted the glue to set properly before I even start filling in the gaps, because I could tell there's a lot of gaps on this baby. Alright, check this out. Now this kit is by Creative Geeks. Alright, let me make sure I said that right. That's in part of one of their Patreons. And this was out released a while ago. Alright, and this is the Huntress, and this is based on one of Francetta's paintings. Alright, if you look up Frank Frazetta, he old school painter. I mean, if you know Conan, the Death Dealer, you're gonna know who he is. And this is one of his most famous paintings. He picked up, Creative Geeks picked up. The sculpture is like almost like perfect to what the painting was. All right, and he did a really nice job capturing the whole thing with the saber-toothed tigers and the huntress and everything. Now she has a spear, okay, but I didn't put it together. I'm going to leave this for the end, and the reason why is because if I'm going to paint it, I want to make sure that I'm able to get to all those nooks and crannies and stuff. Now this is not the base is glued, the characters are all glued together, but they're not glued onto the base, obviously. Alright, because there's a lot of filling in to do on the base itself. There's a lot of big gaps that I have, and that's a printing on my part error. You see that big gap right there? Alright, so that has to be filled in. And so is the it was cut in like in a T, so it's 3 pieces. And each saber-toothed cat needs to be filled in the middle, and this one right here in the head. Okay, and there's going to be a little sculpting involved, to try to capture the hair and things like that. And then on her, the waist and the arms. Now the only thing I don't like, he did a great job sculpting this piece. The only thing I don't like is how he cut the pieces. Okay, now, like, the reason why I have a lot of gaps is probably because of the way I printed it and I supported it while I was printing it. Alright, but I'm not going to throw this away. I'm not going to throw this away. I'm not going to get rid of it. This is modeling. Alright, this is a whole part of the, you're not going to get perfect prints every time. And I'm a noob at printing too, so just like painting and everything. I'm not, I never said that I was, a professional painter or a professional 3D printer. The thing is that sometimes the way somebody, when a designer or a producer or a sculptor cuts the pieces, sometimes I wish they kept the painter or how the assembly is going to be, and they kept that in mind when they designed these kits. Because I would have cut the arm along the seam line of her. Even though it doesn't go all the way back, but at least you can cover up most of it along the seam line of her bra right there on the top. All right, I would have done that. Now the reason why I got a gap is the way, like I said, like the way I probably printed it supported the kit, or the way I lined it up on the printing plate or something. That where I was getting a lot of pull for one area, and maybe it deformed it in certain areas and things like that. I apologize, I'm going through some allergy moments right now, so bear with me on that. So what I'm going to do now is get some putty. Alright, and I'm going to start filling in all the gaps and sculpting some of the hairs, maybe some of the parts on the base. Base I'm not too worried about. And the reason why is because the base I can probably cover it up and hide it with some stuff. We can use some some sand or some other things, other materials that I have available from other dioramas that I made, that we can cover that stuff up really easily, and I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried more about is make sure that I get the gaps filled properly and smooth on her waist and the arms and then the cats. All right, those are the base I'm not too worried about, but the most worried about is the sides over here in the middle. Make sure I get this best as possible, and then the head, and then the waistline, which has a big gap on it. Okay, now this stuff I'm not too worried about. Now, what some guys recommend online sometimes is to use the same resin with a UV light to do like these little seams right here. I I don't recommend it, to be honest with you, to do the, especially when you got gaps like this or gaps like that here in the arm, because those gaps, they go deep. And when you put UV resin in there and you don't catch the whole thing going in, and when the UV, if the UV is not hitting everything that's going into that seam or that gap, what happens is the outside is going to harden, no problem, and you can be able to sand and make it look pretty. The thing is, down the road, and it has happened to me, where the thing is, if the uncured resin that's in there is going to start leaching out, and it's going to ruin your whole paint job. Trust me when I tell you. And I don't want that to happen, and I don't recommend it for you guys. If you're going to do like a flat surface, like a nice small seam or something like that, maybe yeah. But I don't recommend it for something like this, for this project like this. I totally don't recommend it, because it's going to end up leaching out. Like I got a little pock mark right there you see it right there. I'll probably use it for that, because it's on the surface. You're going to be able to hit it with the UV light and then sand it down, and we'll go over that later on. I said, but as far as these gaps that are going on over here, and like the arm, even in these thin seam lines right here, because if that resin gets in there and it's not cured after you're done painting, and it starts leaching out and stuff like that, you're going to be really pissed, because it's going to ruin your whole paint job and everything, and it's not going to look good at all. All right, so you don't want to do that. All right, so I can take this apart. Now, there was two bases to the print, and I thought it was just a little bit of waste of money. See, you get that base right there. Let me take this apart and I'll show you. All right, so you got her. She's very beautiful too. Nicely sculpted and everything. It's amazing the way he did it. Really nice, the whole thing. All right, sorry if I'm out of focus, but all right, we're gonna get in there and get some putty in there, and I'll show you which one we're going to use and how we're going to work it to get in there and smooth it out. Alright, so that's her, the cats. Alright, really cool too. And I'll put the picture for reference from Frazetta. Alright, so this way you can compare it and with his sculpture, and he did a very good job as far as replicating it. Alright, very nice. A lot of detail on the cats. Alright, and see the gaps that I got in there. We'll fix that. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest with you. Just gonna try to get the hairs and everything, but we'll get to that. We'll work on it. And then the base. Alright, like I said, it was cut like a T. He could have did it in two pieces. And the way he keyed these and everything, I wasn't really too happy with it. The way they lined up, and like again, probably has some warping from the print. This is this is hollow, but this is very heavy. All right, hollowed it out. All right, I have drain holes on the inside too. All right, but still, even though I think with the hollowing, I think I went at just 3 millimeters, and the reason why is because I wanted to get some stability on this base. And I could have went probably a little thinner on it, on the thickness of it, but that's what I went with. Alright, so I gotta fix this gap right here. Alright, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. What I'm gonna have it sitting on, instead of printing another base that it had, like a secondary base, I just went out to Hobby Lobby and I picked one of these up. $2. One piece, doesn't have the price on it. Does it? No. It was like $2. Alright. You can sand these down and, paint it. And, you prime it, then you paint it. And boom, you had a nice little base for it. And I use this for a lot of my models or a lot of my prints. If they need a base for it, I'll buy it. They come in different sizes or different shapes. I buy these from Hobby Lobby for $2. Can't go wrong. You're not wasting money on a print, and you can still make your kit look really pretty on top of a nice base. Alright. And you sand it down, make it look nice and smooth, and you paint it. No big deal. $2, you're saving yourself a ton of money and a ton of time for printing one. Alright. So here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be sitting. The reason why it's going to be sitting overlapping is because look, like that. Alright. It's like covers most of the, it's going to cover the whole surface that doesn't need to show. I'm going to glue it on like that. Okay. And you can still show the details around the bottom of the base, you know, wherever you display it. Alright, it's going to look really cool. Alright. And this stuff, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to fill the gaps on this stuff here too. Okay. But I'm not too worried about it. So my goal is to get all this filled today. Let it sit for 24 hours at least. And then, you know, what I usually do is I wash all my kits before I paint them, before I even prime them. And that's to get any kind of residual from your hands, from the grease from your hands, and any other kind of debris, sandy, and all that crap. You get it out. You wash it really good with it. I just use regular dish soap. I use either a Dawn or, you know, like a Palmolive. Anything that breaks down grease really good and stuff like that. That's what stuff that I like to use. You wash it down with a toothbrush. All right. Get some soap. You know, use a real. This is not very hard. It's kind of soft. You don't want to go get a real hard toothbrush because you don't want to damage or scratch anything. So wash it with soap, you know, scrub it down really good, get inside all the crevices and stuff like that, wash it down really good, and then what you do is you start working on letting it dry for make sure that it's really dry. I also get the inside too, make sure that there's nothing. I cured it, and then I put a UV light in there too on the inside of it to make sure that, you know, the stuff inside is cured too. And but I still wash it, you know, make sure that I get anything that might be, you know, caught in there. This been, you know, I printed this for a while now. This has been like, you know, over a month that I printed this out. Before, you know, I wanted to use this kit to for one of the recordings, but, you know, I've been putting it off because it does need a lot of fill, and it's going to take a little bit of time to do that, but that's okay. We'll get it done. Alright, and I'm going to show you how I do it. It's not that hard. It's really easy. There's a lot of different materials out there that you can use to fill, but we'll get to that. Okay, so I'm going to pause this now, and then I'm going to set up the camera a different way, and I'll get the stuff that I need to do, start working, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay? Alright, so I'll meet you back in a couple minutes. Alright, so we're back. Let's get started on the products that we're going to use. These are the tools, the little sculpting tools. These are cheap, you know, you get them from Amazon or whatever. You get like a pack of these. You can get a whole bunch of stuff if you get like the package for like $10. You're going to get like little sculpting tools and, you know, things like that. These are little like little rubber sculpting pieces. They're soft, that I like to use for the putty, that I'm going to be using for you know, when you're sculpting, you push in, or they got different tips on the side where you can mold and cut and, you know, and scrape and a bunch of different things, little bald ends. And then two brushes, you know, not cheap brushes, not too soft, not too hard, all right, like this, that you can use to soften the putty as you put it in. I got like a little toothpick and a little scalping tool for sculpting. Alright, like this, with two sharp ends, one, you know, curved and the other one just straight. I like to use this for different things, and you'll see how I use it when we do this, to push, you know, putty inside the gaps and everything. X-Acto knife, like I said, two brushes, a toothpick, and these other tools right here for sculpting, or, you know, for things like that. A lot of guys that do clay work, they use this stuff right here. I got this to put in. Well, I'm going to mix the two-part epoxy, and this is epoxy sculpt. It's made by Aves. Okay, it's a modeling compound. Okay, I'm going to use this stuff. You can use this or Magic Sculpt if you have that. You can use that too. No big deal. You know, whatever you have in hand. But something like this to fill in the gaps works great. Okay. Some people use Milliput. That's another one. Or like the green stuff. But the green stuff is more harder. It's more for making things than I like using green stuff to like make scars or make parts of clothing and things like that. But the Milliput is better for filling. So is this stuff. Now, have you used green stuff for filling like some other parts? And I'll show you because I have another kit that we're going to be doing in the future. That's what I used, and I'll show you how I did that eventually down the road because that's probably going to be the next or the kit after the next when we go when I start painting another kit here for you guys. But we're going to be using some epoxy sculpt from Aves, and then to smooth the putty once it's in, I'm going to be using this safety solvent also by Aves. Now you can use this with Magic Sculpt, but you can use it with different brands. But this stuff works really good with the Aves stuff, and it smooths it out. Vince Bell Customs. I left the links up for him before. His links are up on my YouTube channel. If you go to some of my links, he's in there. And if you want to check his work out, he uses this for a lot of stuff, the epoxy and this stuff, and he mods a lot of his kits, like the hairs and stuff like that. And he uses this stuff right here. He'll get like one of those sideshow kits, and he'll totally change it, make it look totally different than what it originally was. Clothing, everything, hair, all that stuff. And he'll use a lot of this stuff to do his work, and check him out because he's amazing with some of the work that he does. But Red Dragon Model Works, he also uses this stuff. I think he uses this stuff a lot to smooth out his fills when he does his kits. He just recently did one too, so check his website out again. He's a really good guy, great painter, good friend. All right, and I'm going to put some of that solvent in here into this little cup, and I'm going to go in there as I'm putting the putty in and try to blend it in. I'm going to be using this with the brush or one of the tips right here, and you can use it just to wet it, and you get a little bit smoother blend in there for like things like here for her skin or her arm and things like that. So I'll show you how to do that as we go along. All right, so the key is don't mix a whole lot if you're not going to use it right away, because this stuff is going to dry. It's going to get harder as you go along. So mix, what you think you're going to use at that time, and then work it. You got a little bit of time to work it before this stuff really gets hard, but you don't want to mix too much, because let's say you stop doing what you're doing right now. You don't want to leave it in the middle or something, and that thing is going to end up getting hard, and you're going to have to go in there and scrape it off with a knife or something and start all over again. All right, so just do a little bit at a time. You don't have to do a whole lot. It's two different colors. Right, this is like a greenish color. Just get like a little lump, like right there. All right, you can wet your fingers with a little bit of water if you don't want it to get tactile in your fingers and stuff like that, get stuck in there. All right, so get a little lump like that. All right, make sure you seal it tight. Don't let any air in. Otherwise, not gonna last that long for you. And then this other stuff is more like a lighter green, a little bit harder. Okay. And you have it marked A and B. And this is B. I'm assuming this is the harder. All right, so you want to get about the same size, all right? The same amount. That's pretty close. And you're going to mix it. And mix it really good, all right? Once it becomes one color, then you know you got a good mix. All right. You're gonna mix it really good. Work it. There's a lot of stuff out there in the market that you can use, but this is stuff that has been proven. Like I said, I copy from other guys, YouTube videos and stuff like that. I'm not gonna, claim that this is my invention or anything, because it's not. All right, there's a lot of guys that use this stuff out there. The ones that I use the most, that I always see that use this, is Vince and Gilbert, and those guys, they use this stuff quite a bit. Actually, Gilbert gave me another product. I gotta remember what it was to try out. He says it comes out a lot smoother than this stuff, and he gave me a tip on that. And I gotta ask him again which one it was. So I'd like to give it a try. He says it works a lot smoother than this stuff. So once you get the color and the mixing very well, you can start doing little thin strips. You roll it in your hand. I'm just getting a mix in. You want to get a good mix in there. Alright. Just make sure you mix it in really good. You don't want to, because it's not, otherwise it's not going to cure right if you don't do it right. It's not going to harden. And also, when you glue this stuff together, if you know you're going to need to fill it, you don't have to go crazy with the glue. I use the 2-part epoxy to glue this stuff together, and I didn't use a whole lot because I knew I was going to fill the gaps. And this is also an epoxy too, so this is going to harden. It's going to also strengthen the bond on the kit. So I just want to make sure that this was cured right before I started filling it in and pushing stuff in, and I didn't want the kit to come apart on me while I was doing that. So, alright, so I think we're going to start with the girl. I'm going to start doing her, the Huntress. So let's do that. Alright, get some nice thin strips going. Push that stuff in. See, I break it down, then I'll do it again. Looking get sticky, so there we go. A little bit thinner. Okay, so I want to start with our waistline, because that's the one that has the most gap in it. Let me see if I can focus this a little bit better here. There we go. Alright, so that's where the gap, you see the gap right there? Alright. So I want to get that whole waistline right there. You can do that. So start off with the front. Just because you do it once doesn't mean you have to, sometimes you're going to have to go back in there and do it again and add a little more, or maybe take some out, depending on how much you get in there, how big the gap is, how thick is your putty, all that stuff. So, alright, so get in the gap. Just go all the way around. Keep on getting strips and keep on filling it in. Alright, she doesn't want to help me out here. Let's get it in there. There you go. get some of this stuff in there. Let's get the tip a little wet. Maybe it'll help. So now what I do is I try to push it in. I just want to build something in the behind it to give it a little bit more of room to, you know, if it needs a little bit more something behind it as a backup to the putty that you're putting in. So this way it doesn't, you know, cause like you're pushing it. You're gonna be pushing the stuff in, so you're gonna probably have to already gonna need more putty right there. I can tell that. You gotta push some of that in. So I just put another more little piece right there. Boom, right there, that's it. Alright, that was a big gap right there. So there we go. Got that there. Alright. Get some more thick part right here. We'll put a little thicker piece in there. Just try to push it in. There you go. I'd rather push more on the skin than on her fur undies there, you know what I mean? So, there we go. There we go. Just work your way around. And we'll go in and just smooth it out. Don't worry about making a mess right now, so just get it in there. The air conditioner, when it goes on, I'm telling you, it's so loud. I'm sorry about that, but it's pretty warm up here. And I can't work when it's too hot up here. Just want to make sure I'm getting stuff in there, you know what I mean? There you go. Stretch it out a little bit. You know, if you have to come back with a little bit more later on, you do that. There you go. Just make a little... Sorry. She probably sees a squirrel out there. Just gonna need a little more on that side, but we'll come back and get it in a little bit. Just want to make sure I get everything in around the edges, and then I'll go back and work on what needs to be added or whatever. Okay. Cut it. Just cut it and just add it wherever it needs to be added. There. Like I said, I'm trying to get it on her skin, not on the fur. I want to keep the fur intact. Just get it inside the skin, and that's going to be your seam line, you know. So you know they got to work on that. Once you come back around and start smoothing it out. So you don't want to smooth out the fur, you want to smooth out the skin. So that's what you want to work on. Alright. So I hope you guys can see this right. Make sure we're in focus here. So I got my big head kind of in the way too, so I apologize for that. There we go. Alright. And sometimes, you know, when you put your kit together and everything, you know, hands and things like that get in the way. That's why I didn't put the the whole spear together because I want to make sure that it was out of the way for painting and doing this stuff, you know what I mean? Because otherwise it would be in the way, and it's kind of a little bit, it's got a little give in it, but I don't want to snap it, you know what I mean? So I got some stuff in there. So once you start smoothing it out, it's also going to start pushing stuff in, so you know where you're going to need to add more putty to get it working. I know I need some over here on the side. Get this stuff right here. Alright, get a little thicker here. Right there. Once you start smoothing it out with the safety solvent, it'll push it in a little bit too. So you gotta be careful with that. How much you do, how much you actually brush and all that, because you don't want to. And you can move this stuff over a little bit. You got a little give for that. You know, wherever you need to fill. All right, so we got that. So we can start working on that a little bit. And what I want to use is this. This has like a little V-shaped cut. All right. Or I can use a regular tip, pointed tip. Just soak it. See, I didn't put a lot in there. This is not a whole lot. So that's what I'm going to use for now. All right. So soak it. Just start smoothing it out a little bit with that before you go in with the brush. All right. Because this is going to help pushing it in a little bit. So keep on going. Keep on smoothing it. Then you're going to come around with the brush, and then, you know, after when it's dry, you can sand it down too. What I like to use is this. I got a whole little bucket thingy, okay, full of these little different grit type little sponge sandpapers, sanding sponges. I'm sorry. I use these. These are made from 3M. Fine to super fine to micro fine, you know, something like that. And I cut up a bunch of pieces, and I just go through it until I can't use anymore, because you can tell after a while it doesn't do nothing. But you can use those to sand this stuff off once it dries, and to smooth out, you know, to the skin, so you have a nice perfect little, you know, match in there. You won't be able to tell where the seam was. Okay, so that's why, you know, getting different grits, you know, like real fine grits. You can use regular sandpaper. It's gonna have to go like 1,000, you know, 800, 600 to 1,000 to 1,200, 1,400. It's good. You know, you can use something like that. That's what I usually use it too, for regular sandpaper. I also like to use the stuff they can use wet or dry for the real fine stuff. You know, I like to use those because I like to wet it sometimes, which is a little regular water, and go in there and sand it with the real fine sandpaper. All right, see, you have to work it. You have to, you know, like now I'm working it where I want to smooth it and make a nice seam line. Even if you're going like past it, past where your seam line was, but you're smoothing it out to the skin. You know what I'm saying? So you're going, and I'm not going towards where the fur is. I'm going towards where the skin is. All right. I'm getting that excess stuff and just smoothing the whole thing out. And now I'm going to go in there with the brush and do a little bit more. You can use this. This works just as good. All right. And what this does is like not melts it, but like kind of breaks it down a little bit and gives it more of a smoother, not such a sanding gritty, but more of a smoother finish to the whole thing. And, you know, you can blend in really nicely. You know what I'm saying? So I got my Jersey accent there. Everybody says that your Jersey accent is really strong, man, when you talk on YouTube. I didn't realize until my daughter actually said something. Dad, you know, you sound real Jersey on it. Sorry, it is what it is, you know. That's where I'm from. That's what it is. So you don't want to also see like see like all this wet stuff right here. You don't want to leave that there. All right. So I'm gonna get a little sponge. Hold on, give me just 1 second. I'll show you what I use. These are like makeup or nail sponges that they, you could buy like a whole bag of this stuff for like a couple bucks. That's not really on Amazon. It's not that expensive. So you see all that wetness? It has a little bit of what do you call it? The putty mixed into it. You don't want to let that dry like that, because then you're gonna have to sand that down. All right, you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you pick that up and you clean that up and use a sponge. Sponge works pretty good. Just pick it up, clean it. Don't let it sit. See right there, I got a nice big chunk of it right there. All right, pick it up, clean it. Don't just let it sit there like that, because it's gonna show, and you're gonna have to go in there and sand it once it dries. You don't want to let it dry like that, because it's gonna be a real pain to get it out. All right, same thing if you get anything on the clothing, make sure you pick that up too. All right, don't just let it sit there like that. All right, get it out. All right, so now I'm going to try the brush a little bit. Let's see how that works out. I think I got it pretty good. I think it's smoothing out really, really nicely. If I have to sand it down later, well, that's what we'll do. But we'll sand out the edges just to get a nice smooth finish before you prime. All right, that's the most important thing. Now, when you prime it, something's going to show up. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see something show up. So that's why you want to prime your kit first, because you can always go in there and sand it. Once you prime it and you let it dry, you can go in there and sand the imperfections that you see, and then you can clean it up and then prime it again. All right. So always do that before you do any painting. Because then when you do the painting and then you start seeing the imperfections, then you're going to be like really pissed off that you didn't get that before. It's happened to me. So, all right, so this is looking pretty good. You see, it's not that hard. Just push it in. I got a nice, just a contour of her body. You know what I mean? I might need a little sanding to do here, but this because I've got a little too much putty, but that's okay. We'll do that later on once it dries. All right. So you want to let this stuff cure for about 24 hours before you do anything. You don't want to go in there when it's too soft. All right. It's a nice smooth. Just trying to check to see how. I got a flat one, like a little chisel one. Okay. And see how I'm pushing out towards the skin. Towards the skin. Not towards the fur. You don't want to cover up the detail of the fur. You want to go on the skin and let it smooth out towards the skin. Alright. Looks good. Like I said, towards the skin, always towards the skin, so you get a nice smooth transition. So you can tell right there, there's a little bit. Once this cures, like I said, you can always sand it down a little bit. You get a little and you should be good. Now clean up. Don't need any of that residual crap around. Alright. You dab it. See right there, I got that build up right there. Make sure you get that. And if you guys have any ideas of any better products to use out there, please, like anything that I do, share what your ideas with me or on the channel, and that would be great. Share it with everybody. Everybody could, and I'll promise you, I'll give it a try. I'm okay with that. You tell me about something, I'll look it up, and if it's feasible, I'll give it a try. Stuff like that. So if you got something better, something new, something easier. This stuff, like I said, like I learned it from somebody else and I tried it and it worked for me because I was doing something way harder when I didn't want to say what I was using before because it was looking like crap. And it wasn't like crap. It's just, it took a lot of work, to do what I used to do and stuff like that. So I started learning, easier products out there. And then, like I said, Gilbert has, I think Magic Sculpts makes the product, but I think it was a different name that it went. It was the one of the different products that they have. It's a different name, and I don't remember what it was. And I gotta ask him again what it was. I'm gonna pick some up and try it. He says it goes like butter, and I like when it goes like butter because it makes your job a lot easier. So I gotta ask him next time I talk to him. If I remember. Tomorrow is our meeting. By the time this video goes on, we probably already had our Saturday afternoon paint with us session with Gilbert, Red Dragon Model Works. He's been doing classes, I've been saying this. There's a video up on that. And I think if you're a beginner, I think you should give it a try. Or even if you're not a beginner, just if you want to learn something different that some other guys do and things like that, you should give it a try. It's fun. Just at least watch the old episodes and stuff like that. And you'll be able to see the transition, the guys from the first video, how they did stuff, and to the second one, and how much they improved and everything. And I do it because I have a lot of fun over there with those guys, and I also learn some new things, from other people. These guys are all modelers, but they never did figures before, and these guys, they want to learn how to paint figures like this kind of scale or anything bigger. And some of these guys been really getting into it and they really love it, and they want to keep on going. So it seems like we're going to be doing this way past Christmas. So join us, man, on Saturdays. I need to put a little bit more here. Look at that kind of like sunk in a little bit. You see right there? Yeah, I just noticed that right there. All right, let's put a little bit more. But like these guys have been really having fun. Myself, man, I love doing stuff with other people, man. It's really fun. I really enjoy it. Those guys are a blast too. I hang out with those guys on a Friday nights sometimes, and I hang out and just BS, about models, not just models, but just about life and stuff, and it's just fun talking, bunch of guys, doing stupid stuff. So, but that's how the whole thing came up. It's during one of those sessions, and and these guys, they seem like they're all having fun with it, and I'm including myself, So it's a fun way to learn. We're gonna have some younger crowd coming in this weekend. So by the time you see this video, we'll probably already had 1 or 2 sessions. On the one we're doing a Halloween special this weekend. So if you I always say I hope to see you guys that I see on here on my channel. Hopefully I'll be able to see you over there, And if you have the kit, you can join us. Gilbert's not doing it for anything, just for donations. Or if you have it, it'd be great for you guys to donate, because he's doing it for free, That's the kind of guy he is, But it'd be nice to throw him a bone, you know what I mean? Should buy some paint. or stuff, so you can keep on going and keep on teaching. You know, because that's what it was all about, is sharing information, man. You know, I'm a true believer in that. You know, so you know, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. So I want to share information with you guys. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it because I love it. You know, this is fun to me. You know, and I want to share what I know. Because people ask me. If people didn't ask me, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now, this YouTube thing. I'll probably be doing something else, like, you know, I don't know, whatever. But, you know, people ask me for help, or, you know, they want to know how I did something. And, you know, it's hard for me to just type it, you know. So I might as well just show you. You know, while I'm doing it, I'm up here doing it. Might as well just show you what I'm doing. I have no problem with that. Not at all. Alright, so once this is done, hardening, we'll be able to sand it down just a little bit. It doesn't need a lot, really. Just a little bit, because this stuff really works really good, and it actually does what it's supposed to be doing. I just want to make sure that I don't have no dips. You know what I mean? Like I just found right there that I had to put some more. I just want to make sure that everything is smooth out before I continue with the next one. Alright, that right there is going to have to come out right there. It's too much. Or smooth it out. Here we go. Let's get this round one here. See, there's too much in there. It needs to be smoothed out. Alright, so I'm done with the waistline. So let's move on to the arms. Alright. Get a sponge. Just make sure you clean up any of that residual. Yeah, so like I was saying, you know, it's all about just having fun doing this stuff, you know. Yeah, I had my first commission, second commission actually, just came in, and I don't do commissions, you know, unless somebody, you know, I don't do commissions because, one, you know, I'm fairly new at this stuff, and, you know, and if you like the way I paint certain things, then I'll do it, you know, but I'll do it my way. I'm not too much about right now doing it your way, you know what I mean? If you like the way I did my thing and you want me to do one for you, by all means I'll do it, you know, but I'm not going to do it. You know, some people sometimes they request some really crazy stuff, and I don't think I'm at that level yet where I want to. One, I don't think I want to deal with something like that. And two, is you know, it's going to be my way, or you know, it's not going to be no other way. You know, so you know, you can request anything you want, but you know, there's a limit to everything. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to go outside where I'm not my comfort zone. You know, I'm going to try to stick in with my comfort zone and stay there, because I don't want to commit to something and you not be happy with it. That's the whole thing. You know, I want you to be happy with the way I did something, and period. You know, I'm not looking to, you know, so that's why I'm not doing. I do barely. You know, this is a commission for a friend. You know, and I said, yeah, I'll do it for you, no problem. He asked me to do it. I'm doing it. It's a huge piece, you know, so that's another thing, you know. He's printing it. He says this is a 3D print that he's doing. He's printing it, but I'm painting it. It's a big piece, very big. And maybe, if he lets me, maybe I'll do it here on the channel. You know, I still have to get the piece and everything. He's about halfway done with the printing on it. So, you know. But if you know, if the people want me to do stuff, you know, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But it's gonna be my way, guy. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, that's gonna be a pain to get that piece in there. So bear with me. I'm gonna try to push this in. I'm gonna have to try to work that in there a little bit. It's a nice gap in the back of the arm. Front's not too bad. The back is the one that has the most gap in it. Yeah. But again, you want to get in there. So like I said before, I wish he would have did a cut like on the seam line, because then usually you can hide those a little bit better. And if you know, it is what it is. You know. I can understand sometimes, like, with the nude figure, you can't, really pick and choose where you're gonna do the cuts, if you're gonna cut the arms and stuff like that. But this one has a bra on it. She's not nude. I mean, you could have cut it up there a little bit to give us a little bit of ease in as far as doing this stuff like this. That's why I only gripe with this kit is how the cuts were. The same thing with the tigers. I mean, right there in the freaking middle of the body. You know what I mean? I don't know. Could he have done it somewhere else? Maybe. Like maybe in there and you get legs right there. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how it would have looked. You know. I understand that he wants to compensate for different printer size and stuff like that, because not everybody can print big. Some people have like I wouldn't have been able to print this in my old Mars, illegal Mars, this size. It would have to break it down quite a bit. So I get it. I understand that part, but how you cut it, how you cut a sculpt, it's a big deal, man, for a lot of the people that put it together. So it is what it is. Like I said, you try to do the best you can with what you have, with the tools that you have, and try to see what you come up with. All right, so I got that in there pretty good. That looks better. Let's see how you smooth it out. See, this looks a lot better. And here you got skin on both sides, so you can just do whatever you want over there with that one. Go each whatever way you want to go. So now I got to get the front. All right. See, this stuff that is still workable, not too hard yet. And eventually I'm gonna have to make some more. Well, I'm gonna have to make some more for the tigers. I think with the arms I should be all right. But let me get that here. Excuse me. All right. Let's see. Just squish it in there in the gaps and get it in there. Make sure you get it in there before you start smoothing it out too much. All right. If you got too much, just cut like that. Take it out. There you go. Make sure it's still in focus. Yeah, so I'm not putting my head up too much, so forgive me if it comes out of focus. I put my big head in the middle. I'll try to edit whatever I can. I apologize for that, but I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing over here. So the whole thing is about smoothing out the putty. Just push it out. See if this stuff has give. Okay, so what you're doing is you're just pushing in and pushing out, pushing in and pushing out, pushing in. You're gonna have to do some sanding, some cleaning up. That's okay. Just get it in there. Just try to keep the details always, intact as much as you can. Sometimes you're gonna come into a situation where you're gonna have no choice, but it's always the detail. Try to keep it intact. So that right there, I'm happy with that. It doesn't look too bad at all right there. Here too. Alright. So it looks good. So, let me get some putty on the other arm before we keep going. And then we'll smooth out a little bit more. Alright. Put this down for a second. There you go. Yeah, so the thinner, for little thin areas, the thinner the better. So this way you don't have to smooth out too much. You don't want to put a huge piece, and then you're gonna have too much, and then you're gonna be sanding all day. You know what I mean? So you want to try to sand as least as possible. Cut these up before you go to keep going like Make this even thinner. All right. So this thin piece right here. Okay, I'm trying to keep it in focus as much as I can. Let's see. Let's down a little bit. There you go. Is that better? Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's not there was this one designer guys that he was printing and he did a great job um, designing. Amazing sculptor, shitty cutter. His cuts were like horrible, and like the stuff didn't fit right. I mean, I was like, oh my god, dude. I says, you don't have no idea how much work you have to do to paint one of these. I don't even want to print it. I was like, at the point where I just didn't even want to. I mean, the things were. I don't want to say his name. I don't want to, throw him under the bus, anything like that. I'm not that kind of guy where I'm just gonna like rant about somebody like that. Like Creative Geeks, he does a lot of good jobs with a lot of his stuff. I love his sculpting. I love his work. He doesn't do a bad job on the cutting. It's just where he cut it. I wasn't. And I can understand why maybe he did it there. I get it. But you asked me, I would have done it here. I would have done it there if I had the talent and the know-how. All right, like I said, I don't have the talent, know how to sculpt or anything, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is think about the guy that's going to put it together. Think about him, how much work he's going to need to put it on. You want us to keep this fun. Not too laborious to just to try to do a paint job. You know what I mean? This is not too bad, but at the end, you know, you want to spend more time with a brush in your hand and not with with this stuff. I'm not a sculptor, so this I had to learn the hard way, So some people might think this is fun. For me, I hate doing this shit. I swear to God, I don't like doing it. I'd rather have a brush in my hand than do this. But that's me. That's me. Maybe you guys find this fun. But yeah, so yeah, but like I said, this one guy, this poor guy. I mean, everybody was like ripping him apart, and I was like, hey, you just need to change the way you cut, because people are not gonna, want to, they're not gonna want to get your shit because you're not cutting it. The people are spending too much time putting shit, cleaning up and doing this kind of work, putting, just a lot of putty work. And, I haven't bought a kit from his. I don't even know if he still does anything. To be honest with you, I haven't done anything from his stuff for a long time. I still got some of his files, but I don't want to. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't want to print them. It's just too much work. I know what I'm gonna have to do to try to get at least one of those kits going. You know what I mean? And I'm not in the mood to do something like that. It just takes too much time. You want to spend as much, not a whole lot of time doing this kind of stuff. You want to spend more time painting. Do what you enjoy. But like I said, nothing is going to be perfect. Like I said, well, my case was my prints were shit. My prints did not come out very well at all. And I can admit that. You saw the gaps on some of the stuff is not because of Creative Geeks designed it that way. It was it was my it was like the way maybe I printed it. Like I said, I'm full disclosure here, man. I'm not a good 3D printer. I'm still learning how to how to put this stuff on the build plate and try to get the best print as I can. You know, NY 3D Creations. When I get a kit from him, I'm like, damn, Mike. I says, how do you do it? You know, because I mean, you don't see a whole lot of like stuff that you know. It's a secret. This is business, you know, and I totally don't blame him for it because you know, otherwise he would be out of business. You know, but he does a great job, and especially now, I think he learned a new technique how to do stuff even better, man. Like that Conquistador kit that I showed you guys the last time. It was like no cleanup on that. No cleanup, hardly at all. Very little. Very little. Very impressed. Very impressed. I was like, wow, this is awesome. You know, that's less work for me to do, you know. Just great. But don't get spoiled because not everybody's perfect like that, you know what I mean? Do I have a piece of knit that I want? Alright, so that right there I think is going to be alright because that's how our arm comes in the back, and if there's a little bit of gap there, it's just our arm touching the skin. So I'm okay with that, not getting that in there. I don't want to make it look too cartoony, you know what I mean? I don't know. So now, let me clean some of this stuff up. I don't want this stuff to get hard, and then I have to sand it down and clean it. So, I'm okay with that right there, like that. Yeah, I think I'm okay with her right here. Just gotta smooth her out a little bit more, but let me get some of this residual out. I want it to harden like this. Look at that. That's almost perfect right there. Alright. This right here needs to be a little bit smoother. So you get the brush with it. That's just a little too much. I'm a little crazy. Same thing with this side right here. This needs to be a little bit smoother. You just gotta work it, you know. If you work it, the more you work it, but you also don't want to work it too much where you're gonna be going inside the gap and pushing putty in, because then you're gonna create a like a wave. So just be careful how much you work on it. But what you want to work on is like on the edges where that putty is, from the edge to the skin, and you want to get that nice smooth transition. So this way it's less sanding for you down the end. So this looks good. I like that. I like this part too. This is good. This looks good right here. Alright, so she's almost done right there. Smooth this out a little bit more on this side. And this side right here. This is gonna have to be sanded. I can tell you that right now. Because I built it up a little bit, but that was the stronger gap right there, and there was like a little bit of a, from the print, there was like a little bit of a deformation, so I'm gonna have to sand that down. I know that for a fact already, but it's not gonna be a lot of sanding, which is good. All right. So this stuff is gonna start to get hard real soon. So I want to put some of this into the tigers. So let me clean this up. This is done. I'm happy with it. Once it dries, I'm gonna need to sand it down just a little bit. Go in there with the sponge and just smooth the stuff out, and that's it. So that's how I did that. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do one of the tigers. I'm not gonna do both on here on the video. One, because I don't think I have enough time to do both on the video, because I have to take care of stuff in the house, and I only have time to do probably one on camera. I'll do the other one off camera, and it's going to be basically the same thing. So I gotta get this out of the way here. Let me put her up on the base, and then we'll do one tiger and maybe a little bit of the base. But I'll show you what I'll do with the base if it doesn't come out good, to fill in with, like, cover it up with other stuff. That I'll show you. Alright. and then we're gonna do the painting on her. Once we're done with this, once I'm done with this, with all the priming, all the gap is done. What I'm gonna do is once it dries, like I said, I'll wash it with regular dish soap. Wash it down really good, and then I'll prime it. And I do the priming outside. I don't do it in the house. And what I use, guys, I want to share with this with you. Is depending what color base you want, this is a gray automotive primer, Krylon. Alright, and this is a deep scratch primer. I only use this for 3D prints. I don't use it for the garage kit stuff. For the garage kit stuff, I use regular like Stynylrez primer or Vallejo primer, like I use regular acrylic primer, or I'll use Mr. Color. I like too. Okay, so for the 3D prints, I use this stuff, and the reason why I use this stuff because it'll hide, the 3D print lines and things like that. For the finer details on smaller kits like this, it'll be perfect. You don't put a lot of it, obviously, over because otherwise it's going to cover all the details. This is some thick stuff. All right, so you do one coat, and that's it. All right. You don't want to go too crazy on it. Don't go too thick, and you don't want to do it from far away. You spray over, and that's it. There's either gray or black. Use Krylon, Rust-Oleum. They're all about the same. Like Krylon better. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Because I think it comes out a little better. As far as when you do oversprays. But this stuff works really good. All right, I got the black one because I like doing undercoat black for like metallics. When you do metallics and stuff like that, like armor, things like that. I like to use the black for undercoat. Or you can do like a Sentinel Prime. I'm not gonna talk about it right now, but it's a two-part. One with dark shadows and then the highlights on top, and you pre-prep your kit that way. All right. You prep it for painting. All right. So this is the stuff that I use for priming. Like I said, I want to do that after I get done with doing this stuff, and I'm happy with the results of it. All right, so let's do the tiger. All right, let's get it a little bit thinner. It's not really big gaps. It's just it's going to have to be a pain to get it in there between the fur and all that, but we'll try. All right. So I'm gonna have to pause this for a second. I'm gonna have to go downstairs and take care of the dog because I can hear her from here. She probably needs to go outside already. So I think my wife would have left the house already with my kid. So all right. So I got a couple pieces here to get started. This stuff is starting to get a little harder. Put it in there, push it in, and the chisel. Alright, so let me show you how to do that. So you got, so you want to try to get it, see how it's like kind of like at an angle, right? So start off one end, wherever you want to get started, just pick a spot and just go. Stuff that baby in there. See, the cut is like this in an angle, so I'm going to try to get it in the angle. I'm going to push in this way. All right. See how the cut is in an angle a little bit? You can't see, you can barely see gap there, but if you go like right there, you can see more of the gap. You see it? You won't see it here. You can see it more right there. Okay. So that's why I'm going in this way. Try to get some of the putty in there. All right. It feels like if I want to go the other way, it won't go in. Now see how I got that in there? Alright, so you don't want to make that look smooth, right? Because otherwise it's going to look kind of stupid. You got a smooth fucking line going across. It's going to look kind of corny. I'll give me some more in here. Just do a little bit more before we do what I want to do, and I'll show you. Right. Now, you don't want to sand something like this. This has a lot of texture in it. Alright, so you definitely don't want to sand. So if you have any excess in it, take it off. Alright, you cut it off before it gets dry. Just get it off. Don't let it dry that way, because you're not going to be able to sand. You're going to be sanding the texture off if you do that, and then it's not going to be good. Alright, so if you're getting extra, work it in there. Work it away from it. Alright, but don't let it dry with too much of a that's why I'm going a little thinner and trying to get in the gap, and then do a really good rub in it. All right, and then hold on, let me get some more in here before we move on. Make it a little thinner. Maybe we'll do the whole thing before we move on. Let's try to get that done. It's actually going better than what I thought, to be honest with you. So make sure you get the stuff in there. Don't let it like bulge out. If you got too much of a bulge, work it. Get rid of that bulge. Don't let it dry like that. And the reason why I'm saying is because you can't sand this. You don't want to get rid of the fur detail in this thing. So just make sure you work the gap on this one, and don't let it dry because you can't. There's no smooth area for you to to hide this stuff in. This is all sculpted. So now, okay, so make sure you're getting a nice smooth surface. Get the gap in there. No gaps, no waves going in and stuff like that. So it's like a little bulge right there. Just make sure you work that out. All right. So now, keep working it. Just getting in the gap. Get in the gap. Just keep working it. Gonna hide that gap. Boom, boom, boom. Almost there. This stuff works really good. This safety solvent actually helps you smooth things out, and also just to get it in there. You know what I mean? Inside that gap. I need one little piece. Who's the volunteer right here? This is here. sorry, I just need to see. There we go. My allergies are killing me, so I apologize. You're gonna be sniffing. A little fuzz there. A little bit right there. There's a little wavy in there. Alright, so now that I have the whole gap around done, okay, now what you want to do is you want to try to sculpt some of that hair in there. Alright, before it dries. Okay, so this way you have a nice transition. Now the way the hair is done, let me get it close. Right there, you see how the hair is? Alright, now I see something there on camera that I don't see with my eyes. Is right there. That needs a little putty right there. Alright, so you see how the hair is, right? So that's what you're going to want to try to simulate on the putty. Try to copy it, maybe continue it, or something like that, where you're going to be able to blend, okay? What you're going to be able to do is blend the pieces together, you know. Okay. All right. So what you want to do is you can use the tip of the I have to get this away from the camera a little bit. The tip of a toothpick, or you can use the X-Acto knife. You just go in there, like you can follow where this gap for this hair is here, and continue it there. Let me show you what I did. You see right there? Right there. Okay. Let's do this one. I'm trying to stay in focus, you know, best I can, because I'm not looking now. Alright, just sculpt it in. Alright, you want to try to continue like hair follicles and hairlines. Alright, and just go across and just try to simulate that. Alright, so this way it looks more like it's blending together. It's not just like a smooth little joint that you did to do a little repair. So now you're going to have to go in there and let you do a little sculpting. Alright, okay, you see what I'm talking about? So get your little hairlines and just go in there and just push in a little bit, you know, just try to sculpt that and give it some texture all around. Just go all around, try to follow the pre-existing stuff that you have. Okay, you might be able to smooth this out a little bit, but I will be really careful with that if you're going to do that. All right, but just go in there. Don't be afraid to go in there and give it a nice. Let me see that right there. Hold on a second. I'm trying to stay in focus here. I'm gonna have to come down a little bit because I can't bring this up too close to my eyes. It's not working. Let's stay right there. All right. So you see where these hair follicles right here, they're a little bit smaller. You can use your knife. Or you can use this. Okay, you use the end of this thing right here. You could just, all right, you just go in there like that. Let me try the knife. And you can use the front of the knife or the back side of the knife, all right? Or the sideways, like that. There you go. See that? That's better. See that? Just get in there and just give it like, you see how the hair is flowing this way a little bit on this side? Just follow that pattern. All right? Just follow that pattern. Here it needs a little bit more of putty. That right there's got a little bit too much of a gap and I'm not too happy with that. Right there. Alright? It doesn't look natural. Like some people say, well, why don't you hide it with paint? You can't hide it with paint. It's going to show. You know? Don't be a slacker. Just go ahead and do it. I mean, you're here. You do it right now. Just get it done. There you go. That's better. See how quick that was? That wasn't that hard. Alright. Just get that. Now, if you're having a hard time sculpting it, what I'm suggesting is put a little of this stuff in there. This right here needs a little. That right there needs a little love right there. Alright. This part right here. See what I'm saying? You're going to probably go around and you're going to probably see like little imperfections as you go along. You're going to want to fix them now while you can. Don't do them later. Just try to get it all done now. I mean, you're here. You're doing this right now. Alright. Try to wet it a little bit. Much better. Way better. Much happier with that. Okay. So now, see how I put that big piece right there? Now you're going to want to blend in a little bit more. Alright, so you're going to want to go a little bit. Alright, so let's start from here. Alright, so just put in some lines. Follow. Okay, follow the pattern of the hair. The hair is flowing this way right now on this side of the animal. So we're going to follow that pattern. Alright. Same thing here. Now here looks like it's coming sideways and then it drops down here. So here, just put some lines across here. Alright, there you go. Just sculpt that. Any excess, take it off your blade. Alright, just keep on blending that in. Just go on the top and the bottom, mix it up a little bit. Like that. There you go. There you go. Some soft, some deeps, you know. Just carve out the hair, give it little details. Go around. Follow the contour. There was this big long one here. Just follow that one along. Here, follow this one along. Just keep going. Follow the pattern. Stick with the pattern. You'll be fine. It'll look like it was there the whole time, you know what I mean? You might not be able to tell, but once you paint it, hopefully it will show. Let's see, I got a little bit of extra putty there, just get rid of it. Something right there. And once this dries and you brush it, you'll smooth it out a little bit. You know, when you clean it, it should look a little smoother. It'll blend in a little better. Same thing with the hair here. This hair right here, it looks like it's going down. So follow that pattern. Just stick with the pattern. That's all you got to do. So this right here's got like a like a little bit of a divot there or something. me just see it. See, and I use a lot of solvent. I still got a ton of it left in here. You know, stuff is expensive, so I'm not gonna waste it. You know. Alright, so this pattern was going down. So just cut a little bit of hairs in it. Just so you can hide it. Same thing here. See this here, right here, it looks like it's going across now. Pattern change. Alright. So this is coming down on the belly. And go across. This one's going this way. So keep on sculpting. Just go where you think you need it. While it's still wet. That was my phone. So it's still smooth and wet. You know, you want to go across on something like this because, you know, you don't want to do it when it's dry. Well, you could, but, you know, it's going to be harder. So while it's still soft and wet, just go right across. Sculpt this baby in. Get these hairs looking like they were there. They've been there the whole time. You didn't do nothing to it. You know, it's going to blend nicey nice. Alright. Make sure you get all the excess out, you know. Don't leave it there, just because otherwise it's going to look like crap. Alright, just like that right there. Now you take the material out, so make sure you get it out. Just go across, and different patterns. Just follow the patterns. If the hair's going one way in one area, just go that way, you know what I mean? Make it look natural. So on the belly. Alright. I'm pretty happy where I'm at right now with this. So I'm going to leave it alone. Hopefully it won't show, or won't show as bad or whatever. Well, I'm pretty happy with where it's at. Okay? So that's the tiger. Let's do a little bit of the base before I go, so you guys have an idea. It's almost the same thing. It's got patterns and stuff, but I'm not too worried about hiding stuff on that. Okay. And the reason why is because, you know, you can always, on the base, you can always change it up. Unless it's not a terrain base, you got something other kind of base, like you know, something that's depicting a building, or and you can't hide it. Then yeah, I can understand that. But this right here is going to be, I can hide this. You know, you can go with any kind of pattern you want on this. You know, pretty much. You know, as long as it still looks good. You know, you can hide it with a little dirt effect, or mud effect, or sand, or whatever. You know what I mean? And I have like a sandy type of what do you call it? Thing from AK Interactive. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I think I got something right here. Yeah, yeah. This stuff from AK Interactive, you can put some of this stuff down and hide it. Oops. Right there. Okay. Okay. And it comes in these big. This one's not open. Let me see if I have something that's open. Let me see what kind of texture it is. Well, I used this before for another diorama. It's a concrete. All right, no, let me open that for you. This is what it looks like. All right, it's like a paste, but when it dries, it looks just like concrete. Look at this stuff right here. All right, and I did a diorama. If you go to my Instagram, look at the Will Smith. Oh my God, what's the name of the movie? I have a Will Smith diorama up there. I can't think of the name of the movie right now. Oh my God, drew a blank. I Am Legend. Thank you. Okay. I Am Legend. The diorama that I made. That's the base is all scratch built. I made that. All right. I built it out of foam, and then I put that stuff, and then I have the asphalt stuff too, and I use that for creating that diorama. And if you guys go in there and check that out, you'll see how I did it. You know what it looks like. I mean, so go take a look at it. Go to my Instagram. There's the links for that usually on my. I'll leave it on the video down here below later on. I don't think I put it on every video, but there are on some of the videos that I put up already. All right. So that's what the stuff that I use, and you could probably hide some of this stuff with something like that, or some regular sand that you get from a playground or something like that. Just put some Mod Podge on it, and just you can hide it. I was trying to fill in that gap right there, but I think I did a boo-boo, so I'm going to have to pull it out, but let me see if I can fill it in a little bit. I want some backing before I go in with because this gap is quite big, so I want something to the new putty that I'm going to put down to grab onto and not fall in, you know what I mean? So I want to make sure that I fill in like the big gaps in here. Alright. And to get some kind of backing into it before I put in, the final piece that I want to smooth out or whatever to put in there. Because otherwise you're gonna keep on going over and over again to try to get it leveled out, because otherwise it's gonna keep on sinking on you. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure you get something in there to get some kind of backing into it. You know, and say I just pushed all that stuff in there and it went in too far. So I want to put some more in there. So otherwise you're going to be just going crazy, wasting putty, and keep on going back and forth, and you're going to be going nuts. So make sure you put something in there to at least something have some kind of meat in it, not just void. You know what I mean? Alright, so that's good in there. So that's as far as we're going to go, and I'm going to go all the way down because this is going to be hidden by the base. So this stuff right here is not going to be hidden. This is all exposed stuff. So just get it in there. Alright. Take this off here. Use it here. You see the tools that I'm using, right? A little primitive, right? But it works. Alright. See, I'm rolling it. Just make sure it's in there. Make sure it's in there. It's got a little too much over here, so let me get some of this out. Or stretch it. See, before it gets too hard, I'm using this as a backup, for the backup. And then I'll mix another little batch and do these gaps. Alright. That's how we're going to roll. See, it's a little bit too much on that right there. So just alright, just push it in. As soon as I get done doing this, I'm going to take a little break and I'll come back because I need to walk the dog. Alright? I don't want to get in trouble. Wait. All these guys come home and get mad and walk our little girl. So I'm gonna take her outside. Alright. That's good. Finish putting this in. And then we'll walk the pooch. Hope you guys are learning something out of this thing, you know, and, you know, if you are, leave a comment down below if I'm helping you out in any way. I hope I am. Hope you're learning something, you know. I don't like to throw stuff like this out. You know, I know it's a shitty print, but, you know, it's salvageable, you know. And this is money. I don't know how much money it cost me to print this. You know, it's pretty big and pretty heavy. But, you know, it's a waste of money if you do. You know, oh, you know, it didn't print right, I'm going to throw it out. Don't throw it out. Try this. Before you do anything like that, you know, don't waste your money like that. Just try this. Fix it. You know, trust me when I tell you, I've seen guys throw a ton of money away because they weren't happy with the print. Something like this. As simple as this, or a gap like in the arm, or the tiger like that. Oh, it didn't come out perfect. I'm gonna throw. Listen, I know this whole 3D printing is new to a lot of people, and you know this is modeling. This is what these model guys been doing for years. All right, and you know they got tons of videos out there. You know, car modelers, boat modelers, airplane modelers, figure modeling, you know, dioramas and things like that. There's a ton of information out there, guys, that you can learn from. So, you know, so for a lot of you 3D printing guys, you know, out there, this stuff is new for you. Guess what? This is how it is, man. This is modeling. Just clean up your kit, you know, fix your kit, you know, clean up the seams. You know, you want to make sure the seams are done right and everything. These guys have been doing this stuff for like years. So it's not new to them, you know. So when they see somebody throwing a ton of money out like that, you know, it kind of like, one, it's funny because you know it's kind of stupid and funny at the same time because you know you throwing, you know, the stuff is cost money to do, you know. I don't know, but you know, for me, it's to throw something like this is expensive, you know. This is like a waste of money, you know. Every failed print is that you throw out. So you know, you throw money down the toilet, you know. And the way things are nowadays, I'm sure you guys, everybody's the same way. You know, inflation and you know, money's not going as far as it used to or whatever. You know, everybody's feeling it. So listen, you know, I'm feeling it. You know, so I'm telling you right now, this stuff is, you know, it's an expensive. It's not a cheap hobby. You know. You know. If the hobby was cheap, I would be buying sideshow collectibles and not painting at all. You know what I mean? So don't throw your stuff away. Try to fix it. You know, just give it a chance. If you're frustrated, let me tell you something. I was working on 2 kits for this channel. You know, and I got them sitting right here next to me. Guess what? Why? Because I got frustrated, and I'm not gonna get on YouTube and get frustrated, you know, because something's not coming out the right way. Guess what I did? I just put it to the side. I wasn't gonna get pissed off. Just put it to the side. Let's keep on working. Guess what? I'll work on it another day when I feel better about it. I'm not gonna get pissed off. I got pissed off because one of the kits wasn't coming out just the way I wanted, so I was getting pissed off about it. Guess what? I just put it to the side. I'll get back to it when I feel better about it. You know, and I've done this before, and you know, I'm just not going to go in there and try to do something where it's not going to come out the right way. It's not going to come out the way I want it. So stop, put it down for a minute, think about what you're doing, you know, contemplate a little bit and see where you're going to go with it, or where you want to go with it. But don't go in there and You know, just because something didn't come out perfect doesn't mean that it can't be done or can't be fixed or can't try again. You know what I mean? You know how many times I painted stuff and didn't look right, and I went in there, I threw a lot of layer primer, and I started all over again. And that's how I learned, man. You know, you know. There's kits over there that I want to that I didn't, in the beginning that I want to repaint now because I learned so much in these last few years that now I look at it, and I'm going, I think I could do a little better. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna be ashamed of it. This is maybe I'll just leave it and just show people, hey, listen, this is where I started. This is what my first kit looked like. You know what I mean? And you can see the transition from one to the other. Maybe I'll share that with you guys one day. That would be a bad show to do. Show you where I started and show you what my first kit looked like, and then maybe do a comparison. Maybe I'll print out. It's not a 3D print, but I could probably get another kit like that, a garage kit, and just compare it. And maybe I'll paint another one just to compare it. Just for the hell of it. I think it would be something really fun to do. Just to show, to say, hey, listen, a couple years ago I was here, and look where I'm at now. I think that'll be something fun. Not that I'm like, ooh, look at this painter, he's so good. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I just want to show where I've been and where I'm at now and where I could be, later on. There's just people out there, man, that I'm a huge fan of the way they do stuff, and I always look at their work, and not that I try to copy it or anything like that, but I say to myself, yeah, I could be there in a couple of years, So that's my inspiration. You know what I'm saying? To get better, to do things better. If I get there, I get there. If not, I'm having fun doing it, and that's the whole point too. Have fun doing this stuff. Don't make it into like a. So that's why I don't want to do commissions, because I don't want that to take the fun away from what I'm doing. I want to do this stuff for myself. I don't want to be working for somebody else. Listen, I got a job. I'm making, I'm working, to make money to pay my bills and to have this hobby, and thank goodness that I'm still able to do this. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to do this for a living if it's going to take away from the fun from it. Why even bother? I can see if you're an artist and that is your line of work, and you need to make money to pay for, and that's what you do. I totally get that, and I totally respect that. Trust me. But for me, I have a job, I have a family. I come up here, at the end of the day, when I get done stuff with my family and stuff done from, the home, and, I don't have no homework from work that I have to do, stuff like that. I come up here and chill out, man. And I put on a video or, and watch a movie while I'm doing this or something like that, or listen to music or something, and just do this for fun, man. It's not a job for me, so I'm kind of happy where I'm at right now. The commissions that I do they're for friends, and I don't know if I want to get into like the commission stuff. I really don't know. I think that would be a lot of work. Like I see Vince Vale and I see Matt Morozic, and those guys, they work hard for the commission. If these guys are doing that kind of stuff, and like Casey Love too, Casey Love, that's his job, man. He works for Hollywood. He does a lot of stuff for them and things like that. I don't know what Matt and Vale does for a living, or if they do that. That's their living right there. And then those guys are artists. They went to art school, and I guess that's where they learn all their trades and everything. But they share their information with us, the wannabes. You know what I'm saying? The painters and stuff like that. And but a lot of this stuff is modeling too, man. If you did models when you were a kid, if you were a little geeky like I was, or like these other guys, these guys have been doing it for years, man. And this is what it's about, man. You guys that are doing 3D printing, you never did modeling before, and now you're exposed to this world and kind of want to figure out how to do stuff. Well, ask a modeler, man. A modeler will help you if you ask. And that's what I love about that community. That community, the modeling community, the garage kid community, some of the best people out there, man. Friendly, helpful, you know. Got a question? Yeah, no problem. Hey, this is what I do. This is what I use. You know, very welcoming. You know, love it. People are so nice. You know, and that's the kind of crowd that I like to hang out with. You know, I gravitate towards people that are nice. You know, where I gotta be totally honest with you. Sometimes in those 3D communities, it can be pretty harsh with people. You know when they, especially when they ask for help. You know, or they're asking a question about something. And if you look at some of the comments, they can be pretty rude or pretty nasty sometimes. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but you don't see that in these other Facebook groups that I'm in, like the modeling communities or the garage kid community. Everybody gets along and they help each other out, and they're very welcoming and things like that. So you see how I'm doing that, right? I keep on talking, but you see what I'm doing, right? So those guys are always trying to help people out and you know nice to one another. They're very respectful and everything. If you want to critique somebody to critique your kit, by all means, put that on the description of the picture you put up, and I'm sure you're going to get critiqued about it. Good criticism. Listen, want to be honest with somebody? Say, hey, listen, I love you the work you do, but listen, don't be a jerk about it if you're going to criticize somebody's work. You know what I mean? Say, hey, listen, I would have done this different, or I would have done this way, or you're missing a little bit of this, or if you try this, maybe it'll work better. That's constructive criticism. Instead of calling people names or making fun of their stuff, that's not constructive criticism. That's just being an ass. You know what I mean? So that's the difference between both communities. You see the 3D community. I see, this is what I see, guys. And I'm not I'm not I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm not criticizing as far as the work that I see over there or anything like that. But you see a lot of new people that they never did. You got your artists, obviously. You're gonna see those guys post a lot and they do some great work. But then you're gonna see the new guys. They try to post their work and stuff like that. And sometimes people can be really mean and really rude. But listen, this guy probably never did any modeling before or painting before, and he's giving it a try. The worst thing you can do is insult somebody on their work, and because that guy probably is not going to ever try again, or he's not going to ever post again. And that's not cool, man. That's like being fucking right out me, man. And I don't like that kind of stuff. Forget my language, but it's the truth. If somebody's going to post something, and it's the first time he ever did it, man, I'm giving all the props in the world, man. You know what? Because the gut to put that up there, number one. Two, he's proud of what he did. He probably never did something like that, or he or she. Probably never did something like that before in their life. And I'm just babbling on over here. But no, it's the God honest truth that they probably never did something like that in their life, and they're very proud of doing it and very proud of showing it. They don't need somebody to come over behind them and knock him down, and just put him down like that. And I just don't condone that kind of behavior. You know what I'm saying? I really don't like that, and I see that, and that's what I'm trying to say about those. Ooh, I see a nice little big support thing right there. All right. I don't know if I'm wrong. You guys can say comment down below, but if you guys got good criticism, if you guys want to critique me, give me some good critiques. By all means, put them in there. If you're gonna act like a total jerk, come in my channel and not give me constructive criticism or be a jerk about it. You can put it on there too, but guess what? I don't get offended that easy. So, if you would have seen where I was, when I first started this and where I'm at now, I'm pretty proud of myself, and that's all that counts. If you want to give me constructive criticism, by all means, go ahead and go off and just tell me what I need or what you think I recommend. But you know, don't come in here and you know, well, you can. You know, I'm not gonna tell you not to come over here and look. It's a free world. You know, do what you want. You know, I got a thicker skin than most people, but you know, give me constructive criticism. I take it every day. You know, I'll take it right now. You know, it's just, you know, you got something you want to say about how I do something. You know, things like that. You got a better way for me to do it. By all means, please post. Give me some ideas. Give me a little bit of help. You know, I'll take it any day. You know, this is how I learned. All right. This is how I learn. And this is how I like. I want people to come in here and feel comfortable coming over here. And if they want to ask me something, you can just comment there. You know, you can reach me on Instagram. If you want to keep, you know, just paint it on Instagram. Look me up. I'm in there too. On Facebook, I'm always on those 3D print and paint, 3D STLs, and those kind of sites. If you're looking for me, or garage kits sites and stuff like that, I'm in all over the place on those. You can reach me out over there. You know. I'm gonna have to take a break here, guys. I'm gonna leave this for now. I'll come back and start again where I left off because I gotta let that dog out. But look where we're at already. Okay, and like I said, don't worry too much about if you can't hide it, because you can always hide it with something else later on. I'll try to smooth these out. You know, keep the grooves going. You see. All right. Okay, this I didn't touch this yet. This has the basic stuff that I put in so it can have a little backing in it. Hopefully it's starting to get hard. And then we can go in there, put another piece and just smooth everything out and cut it. But see, this is going to be a little bit harder to try to carve out because it's got a ton of detail in there, right? We'll get there. Alright, so I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I had to walk the dog. She had to go. So let's continue. I still got a little bit of play on this. It's starting to get hard. But can I still use it? Yes, I can. Alright. So. Maybe not. You know. Should I? Still got to get some of this in there. Let me get some of this stuff for like filling in right here. Get a little backing in here. A little too thick. So anyway, sorry I went in a rant before. Just, you know. You have nothing to say, nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. That's what I was told. So, you know, let's leave it at that. Anyway. So like I said, if this is stuff, anything that I'm doing that I show you guys here, if it's helping you out, I would love to know about it. Any results that you get from what, if you follow any of my tutorials. If you want to send me a picture, send it to me, please. I would love to see what you guys did and how you did it. And trust me when I tell you, you know, I would love to see that stuff. And knowing that I'm helping you, that would be totally awesome for me. Alright? And then knowing that this channel is going somewhere and is doing what it's supposed to be doing, you know, I will get so much out of that, you know, because I know that I'm helping somebody with their stuff and their work will be amazing, you know, and I would really love it, you know, to know that that's, you know, I'd like to see your stuff, you know. Let me know if you want me to post it on the channel. Tell me, and I would be more than happy to do it. You know, I would love to see that. I would like to show people, hey, listen, This is what this guy did, or this girl did. Would love to see what you guys do. Just send it over, and I'll show people. And hopefully this is helping you out. And hopefully you're getting good results out of it. And and it's helping you. With the hobby and helping you come out with some good results and things like that. I would love to see that. Send me pictures. And I would love. If you want me to post them on here on the site, I will. All right. I could do like a little show and tell at the end or whatever. Show people the results. That'll be a lot of fun. Another great source of information from 3D printing and the garage kit world is Model Club TV. I will leave a link for them. It's a great show. Bi-monthly. And those guys, it's Jason Walker and Scott Johansson. All right, they're older guys. They're about my age or whatever. Between or whatever. But those guys are funny. They have a lot of guests on there. They're fun to listen. Been doing it for 2 years. I think, what is it? Episode 52, 53, somewhere around there right now. And if you want to go watch the old episodes, you can, the podcast and whatever. And you get to learn. They talk about both. I think the original intention was just talking about Garage Kit, but since the 3D world has taken the modeling side of it, by storm, that inevitably it's gonna, it's a topic. You got old guys that are set their ways, whatever, and they kind of reluctant to try or to do new things, and I totally understand that. You got to respect it, Some people are set in their ways or whatever, or they don't want to try or whatever it might be. They might not be technologically savvy, which, not everybody, myself including. So, sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to get there or whatever, But these guys, they talk about both topics, and how it's impacting one or the other, or how's it helping the other, I think in the garage world, you're going to see a lot more hybrid kids. I still like both. I really enjoy both. There's differences in both. One's hand sculpted. I talked about this before, guys. One's hand sculpted, one's digital. What you get out of it, I see the hand sculpture as like amazing to me, because somebody doing it by hand versus digital. I'm not knocking either one of them. Trust me when I tell you. But doing it by hand, it's an art, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not taking anything away from the digital guys, because you got to be an artist to do that. Some of these guys are doing some amazing work, man, out there with the digital stuff. And where it's going and where it could go is, unlimited. You can do pretty much everything with it. I'm excited to see what's coming out next, as far as the technology goes, and where's it going to go, That's all exciting and everything, but on the other hand, you have somebody who's out there, sculpting this stuff by hand still. There's plenty of guys doing it out there, and doing different topic. Those guys been out there for a while, man. This is not new for them. They've been out there for a while doing it. Some of them are transitioning over to it. Some other ones are not. Or some other ones are doing hybrid kits. Things like that. Is it going to change eventually to who knows? Where this is going to go. But, it's exciting to be involved in it now, because you're starting to see, back in the day, garage kits, that's what it was. Guys, in the garage coming out with a kit that wasn't out there, like, oh, why has nobody ever made a kit like this? Well, so let me make it. me try and do it. And some of the stuff was pretty rough, if you know what I mean. Like, it wasn't all that great, but people were buying the stuff because people were interested in the same topic, stuff. But then you got to start getting better sculptors, better materials, and things like that. And the kits started getting more and more uh, evolved into better sculpting and I guess casting and all that other stuff, where it has become like pretty big. You know what I mean? So, and you got to see some of the stuff that are out there now compared to when I remember back in the day. You know, but you know, even though I didn't model a whole lot, I still admire like to see what people came up with. As far as in the modeling world. Just because I didn't paint it back in the day, I still enjoyed, um, you know, I was a kid and I tried modeling, but I never painted. I always put the stuff together. Like, they started off with doing like military stuff, like tanks and little military figures, and play with them and whatever when I was a kid. But I never got into like really the painting side. My paintings looked like they were very cartoony compared to what I can probably do now. You know what I mean? But I just started painting recently. This is all thanks to COVID, pretty much. Stuck in the house and looking for something to do. I had a printer because I was messing with it, but it was sitting in there for a while because I couldn't get a really good print out of it. So it was just sitting in my attic, just collecting dust until I pulled it out one day and just tried doing it again, and then started getting better, and then I found garage kits and started doing those too, and that's where I'm at right now, guys. All right, so I'm just trying to push some of this stuff in there, just to get it in there. All right, this side is done. Needs a little bit there, so we're getting there. All right, hopefully we'll get done with this soon. It's going to be part one, the prepping part. Now, guys, I'm not going to film how I put primer in this because I got to do it outside. I can't bring all my equipment outside to do it and show you. But I use an automotive primer for 3D prints. Okay, and the reason why is because it gives better coverage for any kind of defect from the printing. And like I said, nothing's going to come out perfect. Right now, with something like this, or even the gray resin, or whatever color you pick, whatever color resin you're using, a lot of times you're not going to be able to see until you prime any kind of other defects or, any kind of blemishes or anything like that. And you're going to have to go back in and sand it again. Okay? So just keep in mind that, you can do that. Once you prime it, let it dry. And once it's dry, go in there with a little bit of sandpaper and sand, and then re-prime it over whatever you sanded. Okay, but don't go crazy with an automatic primer. You can't just put a bunch of layers in it because it's going to hide a lot of details. You just want one layer to get, because what you're using the primer for is for a good base for your paint to grab onto. Okay, so don't go too crazy, like overspraying with the primer. Just make sure you get a good pass. Okay, and that's it. That's all you need. All right, and just make sure you get good coverage, good even coverage on it. You should be fine. Don't go stay too long. Don't let it be runny. That kind of stuff. Just spray, let it dry, wait for a little bit, and then go over it again if you have to. But don't try to overdo it. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. Over here. Let me see. Okay. So. Because if you overdo it, it's going to run, it's going to look like crap. And So I'm not gonna film that. I'm not gonna film the other saber tooth, because once I'm done with this base, I have to go, and I'll do the other one like, and I have to prime not just this kit, but I also have to prime the kit that I'm going to be doing for the Saturday afternoon class. I have to get that one ready. That one's ready to get primed. So I was waiting to prime it. Once I got this done, I wanted to get, kill two birds with one stone. So this way I can continue with this class and continue with this video for you guys and paint this baby. Alright. So usually when I get up here at night after work, after the days with the family and everything, I'll come up here at night, and if I'm not watching a movie, I'm painting, or if I'm not, doing something else that, on a computer or anything like that, I'll be painting. And what I'll do is I'll video it and share it with you guys. All right. So. And that's what I want to do. And share my paintings with you. Alright, so we got this little piece right here, and I use stretch it a little bit. So once it starts getting dry and start doing this, it's going to start getting brittle. When it starts getting brittle, then you know that you need to start mixing a new batch. Alright. But you use the solvent will soften it up. You see, it's starting to get hard, but you still use it with the solvent. And it's what it does is softens it up so you can still work it. Okay? And then you smooth it out. You might have to go in there and sand a little bit, which is okay. Try to get all that. See, I'm not too worried about the base, guys. Like I said, skin tone, the skin and the fur. All right, those two are the ones that I was a little bit more cautious and a little more detailed and whatever, because all right, those needed to be done like right there and then. So, but the base, I'm not too worried about it, to be honest with you. We'll get the base to look good, just as good. It's just if this stuff works, great. If it doesn't, I'm not too worried about it. We're gonna go in and do something to the base to cover up any mistakes. How's that? Because it was a mistake because the way I printed it. I'm not blaming the guy that designed it. I'm blaming myself for this. Would I have done it different? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Everybody has an opinion, right? But all right, I got the side here to do still, and then I think that's it. Maybe a little piece right there. I can smooth out a little bit more. I'll work on that. So I actually kind of like it. Like for big gaps like that, I like it when it's a little bit harder than when it's like freshly mixed. And it's very soft. But for the little ones, I like it soft. For the big gaps, I like it a little bit harder. So, like I said, you're going to have to probably go in there and sand a little bit. That's okay. If you have to. Because, it's just the base. Like I said, guys want to learn how to, Mike Morozic was just working on a bass, and he's always working on something, man. He's incredible. I'm a huge fan of his work. Just I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, he's been working on something in his YouTube channel. Check him out, because he makes it look so easy, and he's always trying new stuff, which is nice, you know. You can learn a lot from him. Just watch his channel, Vince's channel, Gilbert's channel, you know, all those guys. I'll leave links over there for those guys. Try to help them out, you know. Yes, I'm gonna say my buddy's. He wants me to do a kit for him. He's printing it out himself. I'm gonna paint it for him. This thing is huge. It's gonna be beer for a long time. So yeah, but he's a good guy. I mean, it's just. I had him here, you know, on we had a live thing trying to teach him how to paint a couple things, and you know, it's not that he was doing, you know, I don't know, you know, he was picking it up very well. Just I don't know, maybe he just doesn't have the time to do it or whatever, but I don't mind doing it for him. He's a good friend, so that's what we do, you know, friends. But he started getting into 3D. You know, we went out one night, and so you know, we hadn't seen each other because of COVID, and we were just busy. You know, we used to hang out and at least go hang out for, you know, watching a football game or soccer games together or whatever. You know, I'm a huge soccer fan, you know, too. So, and we used to go to this pub where they show a lot of European soccer stuff going on. And, you know, he likes Euro soccer stuff. So we go and hang out. And, you know, one day after COVID, you know, after COVID, you know, we hadn't seen each other for like 2 years. And he says, "Oh, what have you been up to?" And I was like, I got a 3D printer, started printing and painting and stuff. He says, "No, I got one too." Got it during COVID. I was like, "Yeah, me too." I was like, "Oh wow." So yeah, he does really good prints. So that's where I'm having a struggle. You know. You know, I get really good prints sometimes, and then, you know, I try the same. I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong. I don't know what it is. I'll figure it out. But as of right now, I have no clue what I'm doing wrong. Like, I know there's a way to position the stuff on your plate, you know, at an angle, and doing this and that. And I'm trying to learn. You know, I'm going on to these different sites to try to learn how to get a good print or whatever. You know, I'm trying all the time. You know, I'll get there. You know, it's just, you know, I'm trying to keep notes of what I did the last time that worked, and versus, like, you know, now, and yeah, I just haven't figured it out yet, but I will. You know. But my buddy does some really nice prints, and he's been doing some real big ones too. He's got one of the big machines. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, when he does something, he doesn't go small. He does everything like exaggerated. So He's one of those guys. And if he's watching this channel, he's probably saying that he knows it. I tell him all the time. I'm not hiding anything. You know? But he's a good guy. I like him. Friends for a very long time, so. Alright. Smoothing out right now, guys. That's all I'm doing. It's just smoothing out. And I'm going like, not trying to push it in, but trying to go across. See? To smooth it. So this way it's less sanding later on. You know what I mean? So go across it. Like that. It's wet. Go across. This stuff right here, where there's a lot of rocks, you're going to have to carve that. Alright. This is going to have to get carved. Just to make it look at least. Alright. But here, this stuff right here. See? Where the... Squirrel. Dog. Dog. I can hear the ice cream machine truck. The ice cream truck. Ice cream machine. Ice cream truck outside. I bet you that's what she's barking at. Probably one of the kids yelling out there. Ice cream. So I need just a little bit left right there. And that's it, we're done. I'm gonna clean up. Let it dry. I'm gonna carve this over here real quick before it dries. Then we clean up and then we'll call it a day for this video. Alright, I'll finish up the tiger later on or tomorrow. Gotta get all this stuff primed soon. So, I like to let the primer sit for about 24 hours before I touch, before I do any painting on it. You know, and you should too. You don't want to go in there with when you prime something, then go in there because it's just sometimes, you know, if you primed it, and you didn't let it sit and cure. When you paint over it, it's like it's things that are not gonna work out right. You don't want that to happen. You know, so just let it sit. You know, try to do it. You know, take your time, be patient. Let it sit for 24 hours, and you know you should be fine. Let it cure all the way. You know, I want to try to do both kits, especially I'm ready for Friday. I mean, Saturday. And have everything ready. And then I'll continue this video once I'm done with that class and painting this. Start with you guys. So I can put the video out next week, hopefully, and start something new. Some really nice stuff coming up in this channel, guys, too. So subscribe down there so this way you guys know when it happens. Because I try to get the word out to all these different, you know, Instagram and, you know, YouTube and Facebook, and, you know, I'm trying to get the word out. But, you know, if you subscribe, you'll know when the new stuff comes up, and you guys be notified, first ones to be notified about the stuff that's coming up soon. And I got some really interesting things happening. Hopefully it'll pan out. And you guys will reap the benefits out of it. So that's what I'm hoping. So stay tuned for that, because it's coming. And I'll talk about it more. I don't want to talk about it now. I don't want to give anything away. So things are coming, little by little. Hopefully the channel will grow. You know, I'm not doing this for the money, guys. You know, it'll be nice if I get a little bit of money to buy paint and things like that. It always helps. But I'm not doing it for the money. You know, if you want to help me, hit the like button and subscribe. That's how you're gonna help me. That's how you're gonna help anybody else. You go to these sites and you get some good tips and good, you know, results from stuff. Hit the like button. It doesn't take that much to like something. You know, it helps. It helps the producer, the guys that are producing these videos, like myself, to get the word out there and to get more subscribers. That'll be great, man. You know, because then you could make a little bit of money. We're not gonna be like these. Trust me, we're not gonna make a ton of money out of this. You know, this is a niche. You know, not everybody is not gonna go viral that way. Okay, so not everybody likes to do this kind of stuff. So, you know, we're selected people that do this, and you know, it helps out if you guys are watching to subscribe and to hit the like button. You know, you go to one of my links and help them out too. You know what I mean? I appreciate if you did that. You know, that's why I'm sending you all this information and stuff. We're sharing and everything. Try to share them, trying to get the word out. You know, hey, listen, we're here to help you guys out. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. You know, some of these guys have a lot more experience than I do, and you know, you can get a lot more out of them and stuff like that. I get that, but hey, you know, hit the like button. A lot of people visit these channels. They don't hit the like button. Hit it. Doesn't take that long. Hit it right there. It's like right there. Hit it. That's hard. Did it right there. It's not the like button. Subscribe. You know, I'm not one of those big promoter kind of guys, but you know what? Do it, man. Helps us out, man. Get some stuff out. You know, the stuff that we're doing is production time, equipment, you know, that's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. I like doing it for fun, you know, sharing my information. I'm not a camera guy. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I'm a little camera shy. That's why, you know, sometimes you're gonna see my hands. I'm gonna see me come on Saturday to one of the classes over there with Gilbert. You'll probably be able to see me live there. But yeah, I'm not gonna get on camera and show my stupid face. You know, talking about. I'd rather show you what I'm doing. You know, I like to gab. Sorry about that, but you know, one guy commented on one of the comments, and he was right. You know, I can't remember his name, and I apologize if you're watching. He said, "Listen, dude, don't do the fast forward, because people like me or you know whatever, we want to learn, and we'll spend hours watching these videos. And you know what? That's how I learn. You know, Vince Vale and Matt Morozic, they don't fast forward a whole lot of their stuff. They're there showing you what they're doing. And he's right. You know, that's how I learn. You know, and I kind of like, you know, he had a good point. And see, he put a comment there, and it was a constructive criticism. You know, that's what that's what I was talking about before. All right? If you're gonna comment on somebody's anything, their work or what they do or whatever, you know, you want an opinion, you want everybody to give an opinion, that's fine. By all means. Just make sure that you're getting the right message across. You know, it's very insulting. You know. Some people don't know how to take that. You know, I grew up in I'm not gonna tell you where I grew up. But, you know, I learned to have thick skin, let me put it that way. I grew up in a rough neighborhood. And you know, you learn a little bit about stuff like that, you know, right away. Alright guys, I think I'm done with this for now. Hold on, let me see something here. Let me get a little more. You see, I used that one thing for the three things. I'm gonna have to do a new one for the other cat, but you know, I try not to waste. Okay. I try not to waste. This was a little too much. Okay, fine. You learn for the next time. Next time, don't mix so much. Yeah, but don't waste it, because stuff costs money. All right. That's my waste right there for today's work. So I'm gonna have to make some new stuff for the other leopard, because I am gonna stop here when I'm done with this, because I have stuff to do. It's life, kids, wife, dog, clean up, and then if I have time today, I'll come back and finish that tiger. And I'll do it tomorrow, and I'll prime it. Like I said, I'm gonna prime it off screen. When I come back, we're gonna be ready to paint. All right, so we're gonna paint this whole kit. So she'll be sanded down and cleaned and ready for priming. Anything else cleaned up? If there's anything like I needed to do to change anything or anything like that, or anything that I haven't gone over, I'll record it. But if not, just be ready to come back and paint. All right, and see how I do that. Okay, so, and if you want to follow along, by all means, please do. Like I said, I hope you guys are learning something everything that I'm doing. I hope you're picking up on something. I hope I'm helping you out in any way. And if I am, please share it. Please share it, because I would love to see your work. I would love to see what you did, what you came up with, things like that. So, share it. Send me the information. I'll be more than happy to post it here if you want me to. I was saying before, Model Club TV, those guys, they have like a little, at the end of their show, people turn in, like, they send like kids, picture of the kits that they did, or painting, whatever, and they post like a little slideshow at the end of the show, which I think is really cool. If you guys send me pictures, I'll do something like that. I'll put it at the end, and I'll mention you guys' name, or if you want me to, or whatever, you'd let me know what you want me to do. But the thing is sending me the information, whatever I would love to see what you guys come up with, So I'm going to end it here. All right. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you stayed this long, I totally appreciate that too. All right. Hit the like button, subscribe, visit my links. Same thing, hit subscribe or hit the like button at least. Show them that you support them or whatever, some way or another. And thank you for coming. All right. I will see you next time, and we're going to be painting this kit. Like I said, if anything, I'll add it to the video at the end or something, but thanks, guys. Thanks for coming, and thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. And you have yourself a good night. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.